Hello everyone, Ronald Sousa here, or Optical Worm if you follow me on Twitter. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can set up and use the bill of material wizard that I created for Kicad's plugin manager for bombs, so that you can actually create your own HTML or CSV version of your bombs. Now, just because I'm going to be showing you how you can generate your own HTML CSV files or bill of materials, the actual plugin actually allows you to create your own custom outputs, your own custom files, so that you don't have to actually use the same HTML that it comes with. You can actually customize that so that it looks and feels in whatever way you want your bill of material to look like. And you don't even have to stop HTML. If you want to actually generate other file types, you can. Now, for this video, I'm just primarily focusing on the setting up and using. If you want more information on how you actually can customize your own templates, which the bill of material accepts, or how the actual plugin actually works, go over to the project page for this project. You can see the URL just below here. So this is the actual project page for that. The project page actually goes in more detail on how you can actually set up and use it. So if you actually prefer a written instruction how you can do that, you can come over and do this here. So you can see it shows you how you can actually add your own, how you can generate a HTML, CSV, or use your own custom profile. But more importantly, it gives you more information how the actual file structures work, so that you can actually customize those files yourself. So you can go ahead over to the project page to do that. One thing to note is that the actual plugin requires you to actually use Node.js. So you will actually have to install Node.js, and whether you're using a Windows or Mac or Linux, you need to actually go ahead and do that. The project page does tell you how you can actually install Node.js. There we go. It does actually tell you how you can do that on Windows, on Linux. And basically ask you to just download and install it for Mac or Linux, Mac or Windows. I'm going to assume you've already gone ahead and gone to the to Node.js page, this is the URL for that. Go ahead and download it for whatever operating system version you've got and install it. Just make sure that's all up and running. If you're using Windows, it's pretty straightforward. It goes ahead and sets up all the environmental variables for you, so you don't have to worry about that. To be honest, the same thing is for Linux. Once you've installed it, it gets installed in the correct places, so you can actually use it straight through shell if you wanted to. The other thing we're going to be needing is the actual plugin itself. So you can either use Git to download the project files, or the wizard itself, or you can just go ahead and download it through the zip here. I've already gone ahead and downloaded the wizard plugin here, so I've already extracted that and put it into my root directory. You can put that anywhere you want to. There shouldn't be any issues with spacing or file path spacing or anything like that. But generally speaking, I tend to kind of stick the plugin in the C folder, sorry, in the root of my hard drive, so that can actually it's easier on the typing basically. The other thing you're going to be needing, and this is just purely for the testing, you should just be able to use your own project to actually test this out, but just in case you haven't actually created your own project, you can go ahead and download the Kicad source code through the download zip. If you've installed Kicad on Windows, it would already come with the demo examples, but to be honest, I can't really promise that's going to be on every operating system. For example, I've got Kicad installed in Ubuntu, and for some reason I could not find the demo folder, so I've had to actually download this whole project file and actually test it out. But to be honest though, if you've got your own project and you've already got all that set up, you can just go ahead and use the bill of material, generate the bill of material for that anyway. So I would recommend downloading this for this test example anyway. So just in case I haven't put that up, so this is the URL for the plugin I created, and this is the URL for the Kicad source file. So you can go ahead and download that there as well. I basically stuck everything into the C folder here, and I've extracted it both. So I've got my plugin, and I've also got the Kicad source file. Purely using this for the demo project. In fact, that's the one we're going to be using, the complex hierarchy. Okay, so to get started, we'll go back to the project page and we'll go through the step-by-steps. To be honest, I'm just going to go ahead and skip through and get to the meat of it, because I'm only really using the page to get the code that we need to put in. Right, so go ahead and open Kicad, assuming you already got that open. And what you want to do is you want to load that test project for us. So if you go onto the green icon there, and we'll go to the root project, and then we go to Kicad source, demos, complex hierarchy, we'll do that one there. This should work fine in whatever project you got going. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm just using this, again, like I said, I'm just using this as a test project. Okay, so you need to go into the schematic editor. Right, so what I'll do is we'll first add the plugin. So the way we do that is there's a BOM icon just up here. And basically all this really is just a single line, a command line for a shell to be executed. So you basically tell it what program to use, and you give it the Kicad parameters, i.e. the XML file to use and where to output that. But the plugin that I created does take a few extra parameters. So what I'll do is I'll just extract this out a bit so we can kind of see how this kind of goes anyway. What you want to do now is you want to click on the add plugin, and you want to navigate to the directory where you've actually downloaded the plugin, so the Kicad Bom Wizard, and you want to basically select the JavaScript file there, the kicad_bom_wizard.js, and then we want to give it a name. I'm going to start out with the HTML. I'm going to start out with generating the HTML, so I'm going to give it the name for some sort of HTML. So you can name anything you want, but just remember that you need to be able to remember what it is. So I'm just going to keep it nice and simple, bom_HTML. And so the wizard basically just giving you the file path to the actual script. And the thing is though, it's assuming that that's all you're going to need. That's basically assuming that that is the program you want to run, but it's a script. So you actually have to tell it what program you're going to use. Now, if you go to the project page, I do make a note. Where is it? Okay, so I basically tell you that this is what you have to rewrite it to. And so if I just make the text larger, should be able to see it. Basically saying that the plugin manager, so this is kind of what we started out with. Basically, we already have the file path to the actual script itself. We need to put node in front of that. So go ahead and do that. So we'll go into the front, put node, space, and then we need to put these extra parameters in front of it. The first one, which is a %i, basically Kicad is going to replace that with the XML file that it generates whenever you come to generate a BOM. And it basically keeps, it's going to basically pass the JavaScript file that I created, the plugin. It's going to give it the location and the name of the file that it's going to pass through. The second one, which is a %o, is basically Kicad telling, Kicad is going to replace that with the location and the file name without the extension that the BOM should be called. So you basically have to put beside it whatever file extension you want. So we're going to be using it for HTML, so we're just going to go ahead and copy that. And oh, didn't mean to click on that. So we should be in the adding Kicad build material, so adding the Kicad wizard. So it's basically the first thing we do is adding the HTML wizard, HTML plugin. And so we go down there, we already given it a name, and this is the first thing we need to do. And we need to just go back to the plugin here and just attach that to the end. So you should have your node space, the file path location, and the actual file name to the wizard, to the plugin itself. And then the next parameter in quotes should be %i, and the second one should be %o with the file, with the extension file that you want the BOM to be to have basically. And because we're going to be generating HTML, this is all that we need. So we've done that, and we can go ahead and close that, because before we generate anything, actually tell you what, let's go ahead and generate that. See if it tells us any errors or anything like that. Okay, so you should see successful. And if you scroll all the way down, you should see something that says BOM created. Basically, this here is all the information that the plugin creates and outputs back for you to read. But the thing is, it's sounded too quickly for us to see it in real time. And I think, if I'm right, Kicad only outputs this message once the program is closed down. So you should see BOM created. If we go back to the project manager, Kicad's project manager, you can now see there's a new file called a complex_hierarchy.html. What we want to do, if we go back to the complex folder, or the project folder for that Kicad project, you see there's another file that's been created, that's the .html. We can go ahead and double click on that, and we should see the bill of material being created. There we go, that's fine. Now this is quite common. We've created a project, but we haven't actually filled any of the sheet information. So we need to do that now. Basically, we need to tell it what the project name is, the revision, company, comments, anything like that. And you can see here that there's no other parameters. We'll actually go ahead and add a parameter there so you can see how that works. So if we go back to the schematic, if we now click on this icon here, which is the page settings, you can see, I mean, to be honest, the thing is, the way Kicad works is that every sheet has its own parameters, its own revision, its own title, and you can actually tick the icons here, the boxes I mean, to export that information to all the sheets that you've got. Alright, so it's already got a date, so we're good with that. Let's give it a revision number. I like to start with 0. Let's give it a name. Cool project 101. A company name, Kicad Limited. We don't really care for the comment. And just so you can see they're different. And I think that's it. That's all the project information you need. And ordinarily, the way we work is if you want to alter your own templates, you can actually change the HTML so that it doesn't say comment 1, comment 2. You can actually do it so that maybe your first comment is actually going to be a document number. Maybe your next comment is going to be about project information, such as, I don't know, some manufacturing note or do not populate, maybe. I mean, one example I can show you here. If we go back to the top of the project page, I basically had a project example here. There we go. Have I skipped it? There we go. So this is an example of what you can do. I changed the default template to basically rename all the comments and have my own company logo. So that's something you can do. If you're familiar with HTML and CSS, you can basically go in there and just make those changes. Just kind of giving you some of the things you can do. Anyway, going back to here, so yeah, we're happy with that. Now, the thing to note is that the plugin will only take the information from the root sheet, so the title, the revision, it's only going to take it from the first sheet. It's not going to bother doing it from the rest. That's not really that useful taking it from all the others, to be honest, but some people may do, but at this stage, this plugin doesn't really deal with that. So you go back to the bill of material, and you go ahead and click on that, and generate. If we refresh the page, we should see it update. Yeah, there we go. So cool project BOM, revision 0, company, you got not applicable, Kicad Limited. Now, the plugin basically will also read any field information that you have from components. And so, for example, if you go back to the sheet here, and let's say we change C2, let's have a look. We want to change C2, for example. If we click E while you've got the mouse over the capacitor there, we can add custom fields. So we can do supplier, let's see, mouser. Let's say you wanted to do that, or even better, what if the field name is mouser and that's the part number that you want to use, for example? Maybe that might be kind of a nice thing to have. Let's not display that because I think if you click OK, it's going to show it there, is it? No, okay, good. If we now go ahead and save and regenerate that, and we press refresh, there we go, so C2. And there you go. So it gives you the title, and basically this kind of assumes that the field from whenever you see the field Mouser means that that's the part number for that, for example. Maybe in a URL link. Another thing I was going to show you is, for example, here. So you've got C10 and C11. Now the way the plugin works is that it's kind of first, if you see here, they've all been grouped up under capacitors. So it's going to try and group everything together based on the prefix of the designator. So the prefix in this case is C, and they're all got C on there, and they all match. They all have the same prefix, and so therefore they're all going to be grouped together in the table as they've done here. Then it's going to group the parts together that have the same part value and the same field values. And so you can see here that it's basically grouped up C10 and C11 because it's got the same value, and so therefore it's giving you 2. So if we actually add a field value to C11 and not to C10, the bill of material is going to create 2 separate entities for that because they're not technically the same. So if you go back to here and close that and then go and find C10, yeah, that will do us. So if we edit that and let's just add a field to here, and we say again Mouser 1234, click OK. Did that save it? Yeah, it did. Go ahead and go back and regenerate that. And so that should now split up when I press F5, which they have done. And you can see here, also you can note that because C2 and C10 have the same field name, it's put them under the same column. If you misspell Mouser in one and the other, then it's actually going to create 2 fields. So that's just kind of something to kind of keep an eye out. But now C11 and C10 have been degrouped, and it's because they have different field values. So if I now go back into the sheet and actually add Mouser 1234 to C11, it should regroup them. So we go back to here and let's see, where is C11? Oh, it's just in the same one. Go back to here, click add. 1234, click OK, regenerate. Now do I need to have saved that? No, I didn't need to. It saves automatically when we come to regenerate the BOM. And there we go. So C10 and C11, they've got the same field values, so they've been regrouped again. Okay, so we've done that. Now, to do the CSV is slightly more complicated because by default, it assumes you want to do a HTML, so it will actually use the HTML template, and I'll show you, it will make more sense if I show you the file structure of the plugin. If you go into the plugin folder that you downloaded, Kicad Bom Wizard, you can see here I have a folder called template, and within that there is 2 other folders. Now ATEX doesn't actually come with the, well, it shouldn't have. I think I have done. Anyway, it's fine. Ordinarily it's just those 2 that are in there, and you can see that there's the HTML and the CSV. So if you don't give it a file path at the end here telling it which template file to use, it assumes HTML, so hence why I didn't have to put a 3rd one. If you want to do CSV, if we go back to the project page and we go add in CSV profile, basically we now have to add an extra parameter at the end of this command line, change the output file from HTML to CSV, and then again add that template file path. So hopefully you can tell from here that you can actually just add your own custom by just pointing that to anywhere else. So we'll go ahead and basically go back to here. We'll again add plugin, find the plugin, and then this time just gonna call it BOM CSV. What I can do, because I know it's pretty much the same thing, I'm gonna copy it from HTML into the CSV one and just paste that. I'm going to change the HTML file extension to CSV. And now, because I know they're in the same folder, I can actually copy all of this here and put it there. And if we go back to the folder extension, actually to be honest, we could just copy that. Yeah, we'll just replace that. And we need to make sure we put it onto quotes, kind of encased in quotes. And all we have to do is just give it the location where the CSV folder is. And that's all we have to do. Yep, and if we now hit generate, that was successful, it's generated. If we go back to the project manager, we got the new CSV file there. Close that, and if you go back to the project folder again for the Kicad, for the project we're working on, demos, complex hierarchy, and it's right there. And if you open that either with a text file or whatever Excel program you're using, whether you're using Windows or you're using Cal, I think it is on the Open Office, I think it is. And this is the file format that it creates, the CSV file that is created. And you can see here your custom fields are there. All right. And if you did open that on Excel, it would look like this. There we go. Now, if you weren't happy with the fact that the CSV file is being generated with using commas, and you'd rather use apostrophes or whatever else you want to do, you can actually go ahead and edit the. There we go. You can actually go ahead and edit the template files. You can actually make a copy of them, and it's actually pretty straightforward to make your own. So you can actually go, if you go into the plugin manager, and just let's say we want to edit the CSV file, we could just copy that. New, go into that, and you basically just need to edit that in some sort of text file. So let's say the main template folder. I can just go ahead in here and just change all the commas, because the plugin doesn't generate the commas, it's your template files that do. So you can come here and just edit them as you wish, kind of thing. If I quickly show you the HTML, if you fancy just making that change yourself, the template file here.conf, if you can see here, it's basically HTML. There's nothing else. There's nothing here. It's just all the plugin does. It just takes whatever data text you've written in that file and copies it and just replaces all the tags that are in there based on the data that it should have in, well, whatever data they're associated with. So if you do fancy changing your own logo, changing the template file, or even getting rid of the message at the bottom of the bill of material down here, you can change all that. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to go over to the project page for this plugin and leave a comment there. There's also a contact form in there if you want to send me an email. Or if you got Twitter, you can find me. My username is Optical Worm. So go ahead and send me a message down there. That's it for me. Thank you. Bye.